I'm back to find views. Do, 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 do. Okay. Give me 1 second, everybody. We're like 27 seconds in. I'm just gonna wait just a second before we get started here. Let's see here. Just gotta make sure we're live on the platforms that we need to be on. So give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. We're live on that platform. Let's see here. Let's make sure we're live on these other platforms, and then we'll get started. Where am I at here? Ouch. This one. Perfect. Let's see here. Okay. Gonna mute that. Okay. I think we are officially live on all platforms. How is it going, everybody? This is, of course, your boy Bernie here on the Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors and also basketball opinions. Yes, I know it's the 4th of July, and yes, we could have taken a break because we did stream a couple days ago. But, I kind of wanted to go over some of the Summer League games that I saw last night. Luckily, it was brought to my attention that the Summer League started today, or yesterday, I should say. I was kind of I was looking forward to just like a little bit of a relaxation before we get started with our own training at the high school that I work at, and so that's what I was kind of hoping for. But I forgot that summer league was going. Shout out to Sean who actually reminded me, and I actually caught a couple of the games that we're going to be talking about today. Some of the games that include was that Lakers Heat game. Didn't really watch the Grizzlies 76ers. I did watch the Spurs Hornets. Unfortunately, it was not a very good game. Watched the Thunder Jazz, and of course, I watched the Warriors Kings. So the only one I really didn't get to watch was the Grizzlies and the 76ers to its entirety. So we're going to talk about all these games because I felt like there's a lot of things to talk about, both from all these teams that are looking to fill their player role spots going on. Really the summer league is to find who those guys are. Like, yes, yes, it is about the rookies. Yes, it is about 1 or 2 year players that are trying to live up to the expectations. Of course, Chet Holmgren being one of them because of the injury that he had. But most importantly, we're trying to find out who those role players are going to be. And so we're going to discuss about all of this and so much more here on the charge. So before we get started, um, please remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Again, all that stuff helps us out tremendously. Again, we are trying to grow this channel into being something special, something where every NBA fan can like come in and just talk about the games and talk about no matter what the situation is, we love to hear your guys' opinions in the comment section. And, just in the chat board, like if there's the live chat going on right now, like I want to hear your guys' opinion on all these teams that are in the summer league, or whether it's just anything NBA in general. I know that there's a lot of contracts that just got signed. I know Anthony Edwards is about to sign his max. LaMelo Ball signed his. And a lot of teams are signed. Desmond Bain just got his as well. We're also waiting on Jaylen Brown. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about. So if you guys have anything you want to talk about or mention in the comment section or in the live chat, feel free to do so. Again, this is a place where everybody can talk. I don't want it to just be basketball heads only. But if you guys do have an opinion, let me know in the comment section down below. But let's get started talking a little bit about the G League. Then we can talk a little bit about the NBA news. Not really too much to report on, other than I know that Tyler Hero removed the Miami Heat from his bio and everything like that. So that caused a lot of controversy the other day. The Suns are continuing to add players that they're looking to continue to fill their roster since they signed so many of those players. Jaylen Brown supermax extension with negotiations is seen as fragile. But let us get started. And we're only going to go about an hour, is kind of what I'm guessing, maybe 45 minutes, just because I know that it's 4th of July. People are probably out and about. People aren't probably watching a lot of NBA stuff unless it's actual NBA basketball. Yeah, let's get started going with it right now. And let us start with the first thing. And of course, we're going to talk about the Heat and the Lakers. I think that this was a fun this was a fun game. If I do say so myself, we can talk a little bit about all these guys that participated in this. But let us go to the live scene. All right. So this was probably one of the better games I would say out there. I know the Lakers were trailing this whole time, but they did have some solid players and some, a lot of guys that I really enjoyed from both teams. Jaime Jaquez, I've talked about this guy at nauseum with my chat group, both with Pete and also with my other friends as well. And, I think Jaime Jaquez is that guy, like an efficient 8 for 15, plus 10 in the plus minus, 22 points in 22 minutes. He's kind of the quintessential guy that you need on your roster. Like, as much as people like to make fun of him, I know that Sean is not a big fan of his, and we got into a debate last night. Maybe not a huge debate, I would say, but we got into a little bit of a kerfuffle, if you will. But I do think that Jaime Jaquez is a really good player. Like, he does a lot of good things. He passes the ball, he moves it around. Even though he has one assist, he's one of those guys that does the extra pass, and when it finally gets to him, he's able to make a play on it. And so, like, watching him play yesterday, I know that he's going to make it in the NBA. He's a guy that, again, I can see carving a role for himself with this Miami Heat squad. Like, he's going to be in that Strus or Vincent, like one of those type of roles, even the Kevin Love role, maybe a more efficient Kevin Love role, I would say. He's, again, I like his game. I think he's very solid. Like, ever since watching him at UCLA and battling against the Gonzaga Bulldogs and many other teams in the Pac-12, especially my Utes, he's the real deal. And I don't care what anybody says. This dude can play. This dude can flat out be, he's an older player as well. So that also bodes well with what the Miami Heat are trying to do with their culture and maybe getting Damian Lillard in there. But I think Jaime Jaquez is going to do a lot of great things for this squad. And so, he was the one player to me on this whole, really in this whole two teams that I was really impressed with. And so he's definitely a guy that you should be looking out for in the future. And definitely look out for his name from here on out, because, again, I think he's going to be very solid in the league. I know Sean may disagree with me on that, but I think he's going to be super solid. Another guy that was pretty solid was Jovic. Again, another foreign player kind of doing his thing, balling out. Like, I really liked what I saw from him. Did some good things on the court there. Again, efficient, 7 for 12. I mean, that's going to be what the Miami Heat and really the San Antonio Spurs are known for, is just making sure that everybody gets theirs and making sure that the ball moves around. When the ball moves around and you see that there's shots for everybody, this is what makes basketball so much fun. And I know, there's a style clash at times when it comes to, American versus European basketball, but I think when you can blend the two together, that's when basketball is so much fun. And it's going to be one of those things that I definitely can see guys like Jaquez and guys like Jovic add to this team moving forward. Like, those two guys are going to be definitely contributors next year, depending on what happens, right? If Damian Lillard comes in, like, what's going to happen there? Who knows? But at the end of the day, this was a good team. And good Heat culture guys that are going to do a lot of great things. But let's move over to the Lakers side, because I actually thought that there were some good things I saw as well from the Lakers, even though they took the loss last night. One guy for sure is Max Christie. Like, that dude has been in the lab working with Phil Handy. Clearly, if you guys have ever, had me mention Phil Handy, you know that it is a good thing. Like, a lot of people that I follow, guys like Cuffs the Legend, a lot of these other kind of I wouldn't send it to YouTubers, but more so like Twitter people. And, Twitter people take with a grain of salt, except for Cuffs. I think I trust Cuffs a lot more than any of these other guys. But, I think Phil Handy's the real deal. And, you can clearly see by guys like Rui Hachimura, guys like Austin Reeves, even guys like Alex Caruso, like, those guys should be quintessential evidence for anybody that's wondering, why should they trust Phil Handy with their player? Clearly, Phil Handy knows what he's doing. He's turned those guys into absolute monsters, getting them big paydays, and really does it without showing you a lot of the time. Like, a lot, I was even just trying to look up YouTube videos just to show you guys, like, him working out with NBA players. But every time I look on YouTube for NBA players and anything like that, it's really Phil Handy not working with NBA players. Because I think what he does a really good job of is, letting the game show itself, rather than, hey, here's my YouTube clip, like a guy like Hanley, like a guy like Ralph, like a guy like J Law. I like those guys. I think they're very solid. I think they have the place in this like basketball training world community, basketball community. Like there's a place for them. But what I love about Phil Handy, and I know he's trying to sell a product. I know that he's got some, really good stuff. But really, what I like about all of this, really, to me, is that those guys put in the work. Like they don't, I don't see Rui Hachimura gym highlights like I do with Ben Simmons or like I do with any of these other guys. What's up, Justin? Happy 4th, man. Hopefully you got the day off today. Hopefully you're not. I don't know if you still work at. I think you work at Xfinity, right? Let me know if you're still working today or if you're taking the day off, man. Hopefully you got the day off. But where was I? Yeah, like there's not guys like Ben Simmons, guys like who are some other guys? Like I know Kyrie Irving just had one, but Kyrie Irving is that guy, so I really don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with him. But those guys that like always, every single summer, like clockwork, there's a video about them working out, playing in the YMCA, playing against guys that are 5'9", 5'10", work, doing some gym work. Like that's what I don't want to see. And guys like Rui Hachimura, guys like Austin Reeves, they put in the work every day, and it showed, right? Like look at the contracts that they just signed. Like even if they're clutch agents, even if they are part of the Lakers, the fact that Phil Handy is able to get those guys big paydays and able to step up in the playoffs, like Rui Hachimura stepped up tremendously. Oh, double time and a half? Yep. These cable lines need to be ran. Yeah, hey man. I can respect the grind and the hustle for that bread, man. Like we all need that money. So salute to you, man. Hopefully you don't have to work too long, and hopefully you get to enjoy a little maybe someone in your family's cooking for you, man. I hope someone is on the Barbie, cooking up some brats or some burgers for you, man. You definitely deserve it, and I hope that hopefully Chicago will have a better year, man. We'll have to talk about them and our preseason predictions a little bit later. But going back to the Lakers and going back to Phil Handy, like again, like those guys showed up in the playoffs. Those guys showed up in the regular season. So to me, like that is what I love to see about the Lakers and what Phil Handy does. And really the Lakers have won the NBA offseason so far. Like guys that they've signed, Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish. Like, again, I'm a huge fan of Cam Reddish. I know that, he's kind of bounced around the league a little bit. He's bounced around the league a little bit, but I really still believe in his ability. And I know that this has nothing to do with the summer league stuff, but he's a guy that I could definitely see him really stepping up in that category. Like he's going to be a guy that can get 12 points a game. I can guarantee that just because I know what I've saw at Duke the year that they got drafted with Zion and RJ Barrett. Like to me, there's something there with Cam Reddish. And so I personally am a big believer in Cam Reddish. So let me know in the comment section down below what do you guys think about the Lakers and the Miami Heat in the summer league. Is it fun? What did you guys think of it in the comment section down below? I'd love to know what you guys think. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of combine these. I'm also going to make a separate video as well. So if you're watching this part, this is definitely a part of the video. So let's go to the Gamecast. We can go to the box score here and really look at the San Antonio Spurs versus the Charlotte Hornets. What should have been the number 1 versus the number 2. Really quick, I will read your comment, Justin. You said you see the clip of Holmgren saying he's the best player in the league. I think he's a really good player. I've been a believer in him. I know me and Pete have had our disagreement with Chet, but we'll talk about that when we get to that part of it. Chicago sports struggling as always. Don't worry, man. They'll step it up at some point. We'll have to see what's it gonna be because obviously Lonzo Ball is out, and that really breaks my heart. But let's talk about the San Antonio Spurs, Charlotte Hornets. This was not a great showing out for Brandon Miller. I think that the team really started out very slow. I think at one point it was like 10, it must have been like a 12, 20 point lead. Like it was really bad for the Charlotte Hornets at the beginning of this game. I think everybody just struggled tremendously. Boog Knight did not play very well. Brandon Miller played okay. Didn't really show too much of what he can do. 6 turnovers. I think when you are a number 2 pick, you're trying to show out, especially with the number 1 pick not there. That's where a lot of people start to, try to attack you, try to make you do things and speed you up. And clearly, I think this was a kind of awakening for Brandon Miller, who probably has not played, is trying to get back into that basketball NBA speed because, again, from going to college, from going to the NBA, it's a huge jump. It's not everybody is so much more athletic. Everyone is kind of at equal, excuse me, everyone is at equal playing terms. And so to me, like, that's kind of what happened here. And especially when you're going against the San Antonio Spurs, let's keep it a stack here. San Antonio Spurs, whether it is their summer league, whether it is their regular season team, whether it's their G League affiliate team, like, these teams are so well coached. And it just kind of goes to show you the tree that Popovich has created in San Antonio. Like, even when he's not coaching these guys, he's still a guy that can get these guys to play at their maximum potential. Like a guy like Barlow for 24 points, 11 rebounds, 10 for 13 shooting, and then you got um, many other guys as well. I can't remember who this guy is. It's gonna frustrate me. So let me look it up really quick. Um, no, where are we at here? Let's see here. Julian Champagne, like, he just signed a contract in July. Like, he's another guy that could potentially sneak up to everybody. Like, that is something that, again, um, another guy where you just don't, like, the San Antonio Spurs just always find guys, and that's something that I can admire about this team. Wembanyama is not playing in this first summer league in California, but he will be there in Vegas. So people, don't be too alarmed. I know Sean, was making fun of him a little bit because he was ducking the competition. But again, San Antonio Spurs are going to San Antonio Spurs. Like, this team, these teams are just too good. And clearly, the Hornets need to go back to the drawing board. Again, the Hornets, to me, like, this summer league epitomizes kind of where I believe kind of the Charlotte Hornets are at in terms of um, roster configurations, like what they're doing for the future. I just feel like it kind of bleeds itself to what they always have been, which is a dysfunctional franchise. And I know they're trying to work on that. I know that with Jordan gone, and maybe they can get someone in that can really focus in and get these guys to buy into some sort of system, buy into the LaMelo Ball project, because they're going to definitely need to put people around him in order to score. They're going to need to put people around him to play make, and kind of let LaMelo kind of do his thing, if that's the direction that they're going in, which I hope is what they're going into. But we'll find out, and let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this game, because I know that this was one where we were excited to see Brandon Miller, but Brandon Miller did not perform to what we expect. Let's see how he performs. I don't know if they're playing today or when are they playing, but hopefully it's a little bit better than what we saw. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find NBA. NBA Summer League. Let's see, July. Okay, yeah. So they take the day off. So they play the Golden State Warriors on Wednesday. Perfect. Okay, let us move on to the next game here. And that is going to be, of course, the Jazz and the Thunder. I know that this is one that Sean wanted me to talk about. Um, so let's talk about it. Thunder winning this game 95, Utah Jazz 85. This is, of course, was another good game, just because we were trying to figure out, like, Chet Holmgren coming back from the foot injury. What is he going to be? How is he going to react to everything? And I think he passed the test, man. Like, I know he's not scoring, and when I say he's back, and the title of this video might be a little clickbaity, but Chet Holmgren actually played pretty well in this game. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed watching him. Had 4 blocks on the day. Had that 2-handed block. Like, he's definitely a guy that is going to be a difference maker in the NBA. Like I talked about with Pete a year ago, I still believe in Chet Holmgren to this day. And to me, like, the biggest thing that separates a guy like Chet Holmgren from, I would say some of these other bigs, is the fact that he's so versatile, right? He can dribble the ball, he can bring it up the court, he can play really great defense. Like, it's going to be fun when both Chet Holmgren and Victor Wembanyama are in their primes, meaning that they're both, like, in their, like, mid-20s and are battling against each other, because I think that's when we're truly going to see, like, a clash of the Titans there. But until then, both these guys are working on their game. But, Chet showed me everything that I need to know about him. Like, he's not going to be a guy that's overscoring you. He's not going to be a guy that does, I would say, I'm trying to think of the right words here, but he's not going to be a guy that overtakes a game. He's not going to be a guy that, like, scores 40 to 50 points. What he's going to do is be very efficient on offense and really solidify himself on the defensive end. And that's something that a lot of people need to realize about a guy like Chet Holmgren. Like, and I know maybe Sean might disagree with me here, but I think that Chet Holmgren can be a great piece to build around. Maybe not the number one piece, but definitely like a number two, number three. I would say number two for sure, because I think just defensively, he brings something to the table that a lot of these other bigs don't really bring. And I think the blocks kind of showed for it, right? Yes, he had 4 personal fouls, but he also had 3 blocks as well. And, to me, like, he's going to be a guy that needs to get adjusted to the system that they're going to play in Oklahoma City. This wasn't a great game, I would say, for a guy like Jay Williams. Only took 4 shots in this game. I think he was really just trying to build the confidence of these young guys because, again, um, sorry, Jalen Williams, excuse me, 8 for 14, 3 for 5. Like, I know what Jalen Williams can do. Jay Williams, again, the hustle guy, will take charges. Is going to be a guy to me that kind of fills in that Draymond role. Maybe the assists won't be there, but again, efficient from there. And then we got Man, who absolutely postered somebody yesterday. I'm excited for this team. I think this team is going to be another G League. Sorry, not G League. This team is going to be another summer league, or not summer league. You know what? The fourth. I guess it's already gotten to me. This is going to be another NBA league pass team to watch. Again, the Magic are definitely up there for me, and the Thunder are going to be up there for me as well. Even though they used to be the Sonics, and it's still triggering that he could have been in Seattle. At the end of the day, it kind of is what it is. And I think that this team is definitely going to be a league pass team to watch. Going to be a league pass team to monitor because I just think that they're that good. Let's see here. Sean, you said Chet is going to win Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year, I think he has a chance. I think it's going to be fun because it's going to be Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, and both of those guys are going to go at it very hard. And I know that I think with Chet playing on Oklahoma City, I'm not sure if he's going to get necessarily the amount of looks that would need to win Rookie of the Year. But what I will say is that Chet Holmgren is going to definitely win. Depending on what happens, like he could definitely be a 6 man of the year. Maybe he doesn't come off the bench, but maybe he does. But I like his game. I think he's going to be a good player. So definitely look for him to do a lot of great things out there. And again, the Oklahoma City Thunder bench is really good. I think they're going to be super solid. I know Josh Giddey played last year to get some chemistry with Chet Holmgren. Hopefully those two guys are playing together somewhere because I think those two guys are going to definitely make some noise in the NBA if those two guys play together for sure. Going over to the Utah Jazz side, Keontae George, not too bad. I think he had a decent game. Definitely could have been a lot better, but at the end of the day, he's still trying to go into his role. OG Abaji, again, not really doing too much. We'll see, Sean. I mean, not saying that he's going to be like coming off the bench all the time, but I think at the start of the season, he'll come off the bench. I think for me, like when I look at Oklahoma City, I know that I can't really click on these guys in the team. I don't know if maybe the only reason why I say he might come off the bench is because they're trying to kind of ease him into the role that he'll eventually get into. I mean, let's look at this team really quick. See if I can find the Thunder here. Let's see here. Thunder. I mean, obviously, like looking at this roster, I think that he'll, obviously start. The only reason why I say that he can like be eased into it, Sean, is just because, like I said, he's coming back from the foot injury. And I think that this team definitely needs him out there because as you can tell, like as soon as he's off the court, Sean, they instantly get smaller. And so the reason why I say maybe comes off the bench is just because you're trying to ease him back into the NBA and not trying to force him in there. And that's the only reason why I say he can win 6 man of the year. Rookie of the year, I think is tough just because when it comes to rookie of the year, I think it depends on a lot of factors. And I just don't think he's going to get a lot of shots in this offense. Like I think it's going to be Shai Gilgeous for sure. I think Giddey or Jalen Williams kind of gets the leftovers of that. And then Chet Holmgren's kind of the cleanup guy. Not saying that that's his role. Like he's going to just do putbacks and things like that. I would love to, I want to watch a couple more summer league games and, kind of see how they use him in that summer league. And if, I definitely think he can definitely be a guy, like I said, a number 2 guy for sure. because I think Giddy is more effective when he's not taking as many shots and like getting guys the ball. Um, they have a pretty decent back. I think their backups are kind of not as good. I think I want to see a little more Case and Wallace. Did Case and Wallace even play yesterday? I don't want to be rude. I didn't really see. Um, I don't even know if play yesterday. Hang on one second. Let's see, Sean, you said get Lou Dort off that team. He's awful. You don't like Lou Dort? Let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, so he's not on the summer league team just yet. I think he. Oh, okay, that's why. So because of the trade, that's the reason why Case and Wallace isn't on this team yet. Okay, that makes more sense. Because I was wondering, like, Case and Wallace should have been out there, but I guess because of these trades, they don't officially go in until Thursday, so that's a little lame. But Sean, I think this team is going to be pretty solid, man. Like like I said, they're a summer league or they're an NBA League Pass team for sure. Definitely going to be looking into watching them and seeing them play. And let's see what happens with Chet Holmgren. Not saying that he's not going to be a key contributor right away, but I just think they're going to ease him into it just because, again, summer league is a lot different. He played summer league last year. He dominated, but I would like to see him kind of get back into the swing of things. And I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for him. But like it's like yesterday, like he wasn't like the perfect player yesterday. Like he obviously struggled a little bit towards the beginning of the game, but ended up, like I said, carving out a great kind of what I would expect him to be, like 6 for 14. Maybe taking a little bit more, maybe one or two more threes, but rebounding the ball very well, defending the rim very well, and moving the ball too. Because again, I've seen both of these guys play against each other in the U19 Olympics. I think it was the Olympics, or maybe it was the World. It was the World Cup, or World Cup of basketball. But I saw those two guys play against each other. It was a tight game. The U.S. obviously ended up winning that game. But what I liked about both of those two guys is that they're both, rivals of each other. And I think it's going to be a good rivalry in the future when both those guys are, like I said, in the prime of their careers, when they're about like 24. Both of these guys, 26 even. Like those are when we're going to get some great prime years of those two. There's not really a good NBA rivalry right now. Maybe those two guys can be the future rivalry of the NBA. Both the guys are like 7-footers. Both guys are defensive anchors. Both guys can shoot the ball. Both guys can be in the post. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, for the Utah Jazz, it was, I think that they were obviously getting back into the swing of things. Hendricks did not play, which kind of sucked. Right hamstring strain. I think he could have definitely made an impact in that game. But for the guys that are playing on this team, I think the Jazz are going to be okay. They're not like a crazy NBA Summer League roster team, but again, I want to see Hendricks play a little bit more, but we're going to have to wait and see on that one. And then let's see here. I think the last one we're going to talk about is the Kings and the Warriors, with the Kings winning this time. There you go, Sean. They got their win finally in the NBA series. This was a fun one to watch. I think that, there's usually some pretty decent guys on the Golden State Warriors. Now it's going to be a question of, can some of these guys get the minutes that they need? Because, again, like all of these Warriors, like what makes them special is that they get minutes, but I just don't know if they're going to get minutes. But let's move over to the Sacramento Kings side of things. I thought it was a little bit more fun to watch them play. Murray obviously ended up being a baller in this game. Again, scoring the rock tremendously. That's going to be a guy to watch out for if you guys are looking for somebody to watch on the Kings in terms of a rookie to a 1-year player. Edwards played pretty decently, not shooting wise, that's for sure. Jay Ford, and again, like to me, like this was another one of those games where there was some solid play, but not necessarily anything crazy. And so again, Sacramento Kings winning this one 100-94. The Kings will be just fine. I think Murray is going to be a very good player for them, and so look out for this Kings team again moving forward. They signed Sabonis to a max contract as well. Gonna be a lot of fun to watch the Kings kind of see what they can come up with in the future. But let's move over to some NBA news and rumors, and then we'll kind of get out of here so you guys can enjoy your fourth. But let me know in the comment section down below before we end this segment. What did you guys think of the NBA Summer League so far? Who has been like your biggest surprise? Who has been a guy that you're looking forward to watching? Let me know in the comment section down below because, again, the 5th and 6th is when we get back into Summer League. And I want to know what you guys think about this going forward in the comment section. Let's see if we can find Summer League. Oh, G League. Excuse me. Summer League. Here we go. Let's see the schedule, just so you guys can see. Drew Timmy gonna cook? Is he? When is he playing for the Bucks? Is he playing? Nothing today for sure. 5th. When are the Bucks playing? Milwaukee right here. Okay, so they don't play till Friday. Okay. I'll definitely be looking at that and seeing what Drew Timmy's gonna do on that. That's at 2 p.m. Yeah, I could watch that one. That'll be a good one to watch. I think this is all in Vegas, so this will be a lot of fun to see what's going on here. But let's us move forward to the NBA news. Let's go news and rumors, and then we'll kind of get out of here so you guys can enjoy your 4th of July, your Stars and Stripes days. But let's see here. Let's have that up there just in case. Ooh, not mean to highlight everything there. Anthony Edwards getting a 5-year extension. I thought, this is obviously great. I think what the problem or the thing that the Wolves need to think about now, and again, once me and Pete kind of link up, we can talk a little bit more about it preseason wise and things like that. The question for the Wolves is going to be, what did they do with their roster? Because I felt like they gambled it all on Rudy Gobert, and I don't feel like it was a great gamble. And clearly, they're stuck in this weird do they get rid of Karl-Anthony Towns? Do they get rid of Rudy Gobert? They can't get rid of Rudy Gobert because it would just make them look like a failure. Like, again, there's a lot of things that this roster and this team needs to do. So I'm curious to see what they do. But again, locking down Anthony Edwards was definitely a big move. And they definitely needed to do that because you don't want this guy to go anywhere else. Mason Plumlee to the Clippers. I thought that was a great pickup. If the Lakers were able to pick him up, I think it would have been even bigger. But I think the Clippers are also in this weird limbo state where they might trade for James Harden. They're looking to improve their roster. Obviously Kawhi Leonard and Paul George experiment has not worked out thus far because one of those guys is injured every time, unfortunately. But we'll see what goes on with those guys. Blazers want Tyler Hero to be sent to a third team and any Lillard to the Heat scenario. I guess no one wants to pay Tyler Hero the money. I think he's an okay player. I don't think he's necessarily the worst player. So I'm curious to see why, what's the reasoning behind Tyler Hero just not really, I would say, demanding or people aren't taking a chance on him. That's kind of one of those things that I want to look at. So let's see what goes on in the comment section. Sorry, I just want to make sure that we're not missing any NBA news and rumors. Jaylen Brown. Celtics talking Supermax extension with the negotiations described as fragile. Of course, this comes from Brian Windhorst. I think both of these, I think 270 is what people are expecting. He's obviously going to make a lot of money. But I just think that the Celtics are a little hesitant, not because they don't think he's worth it at times. It's just, I think that it's a lot of money to spend on a guy that may or may not be able to go left, to go to his left. And that's not that's not a shot at Jaylen Brown. It's just, I think that it's kind of to me what happened in Portland with CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard. At some point you run into the buzzsaw. Can you get over the hump? Yes, you were able to get over it one time. And you did play in the NBA Finals. And, I don't think it was our best showing, which kind of sucked. But, I want to see a little bit more from Jaylen Brown. If he's going to be signing back with the Boston Celtics, if he's going to be back in Boston, I would love to see him, and both him and Tatum, and this is both of them. Both of them need to be able to learn that, they know what you're going to play. The Warriors set the blueprint since the NBA Finals of how you need to play these guys. As soon as you see them getting ready to drive, you clog the paint. Let them try to go in there. They're going to try to do a crazy move behind the back or between the legs, and it's just going to get pickpocketed from when they finally get to the weak hand because, again, these guys don't have the tightest handles, and it really causes them to lose the ball at times because you saw Jaylen Brown at times, going between the legs to his left. You see like Strus or one of these other guards like Vincent come in from the weaks from the blind side and just take it from his left hand, and then they're off on the break. And again, like that just can't happen for Boston. I just think that what I want to see more of is Missoula with his coaching staff figuring out, okay, when teams do this to us, what is going to be our expectation? Because again, it is frustrating that we can't get these guys going because you could shoot out of it, but both these guys are not the best of shooters. Meaning they're not like a Curry, they're not like a Klay Thompson. These guys are not going to be shooting it consistently. And so to me, like when that's the case, when you see that, that's the tough part for me personally. Is like these guys just seem like if it doesn't work, let's just try to force our way through there, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So again, I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below about all this, because again, I want to see both these guys succeed, both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, but we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be a very tough negotiations. I know, Sean, you want him in Sacramento. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know if Sacramento's the right spot for him. Maybe it is, but who knows? But like I said, let me know in the comment section down below, what does everybody think about Jaylen Brown, and where does he go? Let me know in the comment section down below. Okay. Other than that, there's not really other much to talk about. I mean, again, everyone's reacting to Chet Holmgren coming back. Malik Beasley on a one-year deal with Milwaukee. Damari Carroll joins the Lakers coaching staff. That's actually pretty cool. The Lopez brothers are going to reunite in Milwaukee. Draymond Green believes Chris Paul will help unlock Jonathan Kuminga. You're just hoping that Chris Paul can help you unlock any young player on that Warriors roster, because I think that's probably the one area that I would say a frustration with, is that these young players, you want to see them play, you want to see them grow and develop, but I just don't know. Steve Kerr, to me, just kind of doesn't trust those guys for whatever reason, and it's definitely very unlike. It's very unlike. I would say unPopovich like, especially with Kerr coming from the Popovich tree. And then let's talk about this one, because I did watch the clip, but we can maybe watch. Let me see if the clip is here somewhere. Let's see if we can get it up here. I don't know about that one. James Harden, 76ers meeting. No, let's go with. Let me see if I can search up Ben Simmons. It's not Ben Simmons. Ben. And let's just finish with this one, and then we'll call it good. See if I can find the Draymond Green clip here. Here we go. This is what I want, and I'm not sure if I can be able to play it here, but this is what we got from Clutch Points, and this was a video. Sorry, I just don't have my headphones in, and I think they're somewhere in my car, and so I will grab those a little bit later. And talk. Maybe I should save this one, but let's talk about this. Let's just talk quickly about this, and then we can kind of go our separate ways here. So Clutch Points kind of says this: you see people lose confidence in their game, like Ben Simmons. He's still the same Ben Simmons we watched dominate in Philly. The only difference is confidence. I know how it feels to lose confidence. Draymond Green. I think the big thing for me when it comes to a guy like Ben Simmons is, to me, it's never been about the confidence. To me, it's about the work ethic and the work that you put in. And again, I am not an NBA player. I'm not even a college player. The most I got to was high school. And so, I think it's kind of one of those things you look at and you're like, why should someone in high school be able to comment? The only thing that I can comment on, really, as someone that is, coaches it now and really just watches it from the sidelines, to me, like the biggest, I would say, talking point of all this stuff to me is the work ethic itself. Like, again, I don't expect everybody to be the star player because I think that there's just it's too many few spots to be the star player. But when you have the talent like Ben Simmons does, and this has always been my gripe with Ben Simmons from the start, is he's a really great player. I think he does a lot of great things on the court. Again, defensively and passing wise, like that's someone that you want to do those things too, and give you some great some great passing, some great ball movement. Like that's something that you love to watch when you see a guy like Ben Simmons. My only problem with Ben Simmons is the work ethic and the expectations that he's always right and never wrong. And the fact that his way is the best way and any other way is just lame. And it's just, the work ethic is just not there for me. Like, yes, we see the videos put out there, but where is he in the offseason working on his jumper? Like, at the most part, like I said, I see him, playing video games, obviously earlier in his career, a little bit more than I would say, putting in that work in the gym. And again, I don't need to see the work put in the gym. Your game tells me everything I need to know because, again, he's a guy that doesn't attempt a three at all, and doesn't attempt anything unless it's in the paint. Like, the paint is going to be his best friend. And so to me, like, that is where I personally draw the line with a guy like Ben Simmons is like, yes, I'm never gonna be like you. I'm never gonna be a 6'10" superstar like you would be. But I want to see a little bit more from Ben Simmons. Like, I want to see him be a guy that can be a solid player. But I just think that the confidence is low. I think him and the way that I would say Rich Paul handled that situation in Philadelphia was not good. And again, Rich Paul does a lot of great things, but the only thing I could really criticize Rich Paul on was his, I would say, handlement of Ben Simmons. Because I just think that, yes, you're trying to get Ben Simmons the best deal possible. You're trying to make sure that he preserves that money. But when you're not showing up to practice, when to me, I just felt like Ben Simmons kind of took advantage of, it's really tough to say because, I don't want to come off as rude or, ingenuous, but in my opinion, and again, this is my opinion, I felt like he took advantage of the mental health stuff, for a guy that, if mental health was really the biggest thing for him, I would definitely, where, to me, I felt like he never sought the help that he needed to for his mental health. And again, that could be me being rude and being disingenuous and not being nice at all. But that's the way Ben Simmons was perceived to me. Like, going to practice with a cell phone in your pocket, like, those things matter and those things are seen. And, it kind of goes to show you, like, yeah, Ben Simmons cannot shoot a jump shot. To me, it's never been about confidence. Like, I think yes, I do think that he did lose a little bit of confidence like these last couple years, but it's due to him not handling the business that he needed to. I would, if that was one conversation I would like to have with Draymond Green or any of these guys, would be that conversation. Like, it never seemed to me that Ben Simmons got the help he needed to overcome this stuff. Like, if you actually had mental health issues like you were talking about, like, I don't think we would see the stuff that we saw in that offseason. Like, phone in pocket, Doc Rivers had to kick him out of practice. Like, that, to me, that's never been confidence. To me, that's just arrogance. And to think that you are Ben Simmons and you will always be Ben Simmons and you will always be this good player. I mean, again, like I said, like, again, I could be very disingenuous. I could be very rude. But to me, that is kind of the perception that I see with Ben Simmons. And, I think Ben Simmons, like I said, has all the talent, all the tools to be a great player. Like, I don't want to discredit him and say that he's a bum because he's not a bum. He's a really good player. I just think that he hasn't tapped his potential yet, or never. Is it too late for him to tap his potential? Because in the NBA, it can get a little bit more of a, what have you done for me lately? And also, like, are you friends with some of these owners? Are you friends with some of the players in this league that are willing to, kind of say, like, yeah, you guys, we should sign Ben Simmons. Like, he hasn't played very well, but he could be a high risk, high reward type of guy. Like, I just haven't seen that with Ben Simmons so far. Um, and again, I know people are going to say that I'm, being a jerk to Ben Simmons, but personally, that's kind of what I saw from Ben Simmons from his time in Philadelphia to where he missed the dunk to where, Doc Rivers called him out a little bit. And, I think it rubbed Ben Simmons the wrong way. And he said, you know what? I'm just going to collect my paycheck and just chill. And then as soon as the 76ers called him out on that, he, played a lot of different cards, I would say, especially the mental health card, which anybody will tell you that, like, I just don't believe that Ben Simmons had mental health issues like that. Like, if he really did, I think that, I think Ben Simmons would be okay with him hiring his own personal, uh, psychiatrist and also having the team psychiatrist from the 76ers both work together to help Ben Simmons. But I just felt like Ben Simmons was too much, I would say. And I don't, like I said, this couldn't be, maybe this is Rich Paul. Maybe it's not Rich Paul's doing in terms of guiding him. Maybe it was just Ben Simmons acting on his own and Rich Paul saying, I'm willing to follow whatever you're trying to do. But at the end of the day, Ben Simmons did not make the right choice. I think it led to a lot of disastrous moments in his career. Like, it led him to where he's at now, where he's on the Nets, left alone. Right. He, even when he was with KD and Kyrie and James, and I don't know, no, he wasn't there with James Harden, but there with KD and Kyrie. It really didn't work out too well for them. Like, it should have been a lot better. You should have saw a lot more cohesion. Maybe Ben Simmons could have been an answer for them. Um, but I personally see, like, this is where my issue with Ben Simmons kind of comes about. And again, maybe I'm being harsh on Ben Simmons. Maybe I just need to be a little bit nicer to him in terms or like, easier on him in terms of not judging him too quickly. Again, who am I to judge, right? Again, not an NBA player, not 6'10. I get it. But I would like to see him step it up at some point, and kind of say, like, yeah, this was on me, and let me fix the corrections that I need to. Like, I just think that it was too much blaming other people, and everybody does this in life. It's not just Ben Simmons. Like, we all get into that habit of blaming everything else before we blame ourselves, and that happens sometimes. And that's not to take away anything from those guys, or take away anything from a guy like Ben Simmons. But at the same time, there needs to be some sort of responsibility on his shoulders. And so that, to me, is where I kind of draw the line with a guy like Ben Simmons. And really, the confidence thing. Like, I think it can be confidence, but he lost confidence on his own. It wasn't, and by on his own, it meant like on his own doing, right? The whole situation in Philadelphia leading up to the Brooklyn stuff, Brooklyn kind of babying him a little bit, and then Ben Simmons getting mad at the Brooklyn staff because they misdiagnosed his back. Again, the back injury could be everything, but at the same time, like, when you're not doing everything you can to protect yourself and take care of yourself, both physically and mentally, I think that kind of falls on your shoulder. Like, maybe he needed someone to guide him on that, but who knows? But anyway, guys, that is going to do it here for the charge. Thank you once again for tuning in, giving you the latest NBA news and rumors, and also basketball opinions. And again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let's make sure that NBA Central, there's no other news before we get going here. Let's make sure we're on the official one. Let's see here. Anthony Edwards. Let's see here. James Harden hanging out with Tom Brady and Devin Booker. Interesting. Let's see here. Caleb Martin could be a real sticking point in the Lillard trade. We know Lillard might get traded. We don't really care about that one. Let's see here. Ben Simmons could be involved in that. Derrick Rose back in Memphis, which is really cool to see. Let's watch this Jaime Jaquez play right here. Again, the Jaquez propaganda is here. He's on my propaganda. If I have my propaganda list, he's on there. Look at my guy here. Telling me this guy is not that dude. Wow, the little trade could be a 4-team deal. We got Gabe Vincent watching from the sideline. Yeah. So anyway, guys, I think that is going to do it here for the charge. Thank you once again, and we'll talk about this story that's on my screen and when Pete's on. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for joining us here on the Charge, giving the latest NBA news and rumors, and also basketball opinions. Hope you guys enjoy your 4th of July. Make sure to cook. Make sure to let me know what you guys did. Would you light up some fireworks? Did we get some good burgers and brats? Let me know in the comment section down below. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for joining, and we'll catch everybody on the next episode of The Charge. Stay tuned as we're trying to figure out when that'll be. But anyway, guys, like I said, my name is Bernie. Thank you once again for joining, and we'll catch everybody on the next episode of The Charge. Anyway, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow. We'll